And we provide training for HR professionals and company supervisors, and we provide divorce coaching and case management for your divorcing employees. And I would love to introduce you to Paulette Rigo. Paulette, wave Paulette so that they can say hi, a certified divorce coach, a certified divorce specialist, a credentialed mediator, and director of coaching and management here at Divorce Right. And together, we tackle the biggest disruptor in your company, divorce. And as a reminder, today we have SHRM credits for SHRM members, and we'll be posting a link at the end of this broadcast so that you can make sure to grab those. And today we have another expert that provides relief for your divorcing employees. Today, I would love to introduce to you Julie Roundtree. Julie is a certified divorce coach. She's a graduate from Stetson University College of Law. Julie has practiced family law for over 15 years, representing clients in countless divorces and helping them navigate the many challenges of divorce. Although Julie was their legal advocate, she found it difficult to manage clients' issues when it came to the emotional part of divorce. Something or someone was missing from the team of divorce professionals. After several years of needing a change, Julie made it a priority to help clients sort through the emotional and overwhelming parts of divorce and thrive in the post-divorce transition once the lawyers and judges were out of the picture. Julie knew she had to reinvent the divorce experience by providing support as well as guidance, focus, and tools for a peaceful transformation. She became a certified divorce coach and divorce transition and recovery coach, and today her practice is devoted to helping men and women who are simply overwhelmed by the divorce process and ready to gain clarity, confidence, and the ability to move forward with grace. So thank you, Julie, for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you both.
I'm so glad that you're here today. And it's really important to what I love that you bring to this conversation today, Julie, is that you know both sides of this story. You've been on the inside and on the outside of it, if you will, as a divorce coach. And you bring to it a perspective that I think is really needed in this process so that you can provide some solutions to people as they're going through it. So, I'm going to let Paulette take it over with some, to get this started, and so that we can start to have a conversation about why would somebody leave a lucrative, legal practice to do this. So, Paulette, do you have your questions ready?
I don't have questions
Check
from
your
you.
check
You
your
can
check
give
your
me.
phone real quick.
Okay, I'll check my phone. I could have no problem because Julie and I live in the trenches. So
I know you do.
yes, I do have them.
Right. That's
Because
right.
it is I'm sure both Julie and I get the questions about why would you want to be a divorce coach? Like, what is a divorce coach? What do you do? And the question I get a lot, because I'm not an attorney, but a mediator, and of course that's a whole nother conversation, is do you give legal advice? Because you don't want to um, give the wrong impression about the roles that divorce coaches play
That's
and
right.
the tools and uh, the goals that we have for working with them. Uh, we'll start with, how is hiring a certified divorce coach helpful for employees, right, going through the divorce process itself?
Many of my clients who are employed will at some point during our sessions talk about issues that they have in the workplace because they're enduring the divorce. So, just some concerns I typically hear are that they have noticed a loss in their own productivity. They're no longer focused, or maybe they're not feeling the love and support from their team members or their supervisors, or maybe they don't feel comfortable going to a supervisor or a team member and letting them know that they are having this personal issue and that they are going through a divorce. Or not only, who do I go to, but should I say anything? So I would say that this routinely does come up in my sessions. And what I do as a divorce coach, really, I help the employees. I basically walk down the path with them, right? I am there to support them. I'm there to be their sounding board. I'm there to be their thinking partner and really help them to be the best version of themselves that they can possibly be as they endure this divorce. I do help them, and maybe we can get into that later as well, but help them specifically on how to get back on track if they are feeling like they're not focused, and really ask them, what kind of support do you need from your team members and from your supervisors? And let's ask for it if you feel like you're not getting it.
Well, you brought up a great point, because you said their thinking partner, because that's one of the things that goes to, what's a nice word?
Pot. It goes to pot.
Yeah, it just kind of falls apart, right? Because the thinking mind is not working well, because everything is so emotional, and naturally the fear and all the hormones and adrenals and the whole body is taking over. The heart rate increases. You're just not at your optimal best because of the stress that you're living under. So what is the first thing to go? Common sense thinking, your ability to make decisions, or smart decisions. Maybe you can make a decision about what clothes to put on, or although sometimes I've seen people go through stressful divorces, and
Right.
they're, not to say the end of the world, but they've got mismatched socks, their shirts on inside out, and maybe they're not the most put together that they normally were, because those decision making abilities are fried. Really, they're just drained and they're not at their best. So having somebody there like yourself be able to sit with them figuratively or literally and help them calm down, and also not see the whole entire catastrophe at hand, but be able to look at it in small little bite-sized pieces, they're able to make smarter choices with you holding hands with them, locking arms with them, and making smarter choices with them.
Absolutely. I mean, just how you said it, anytime we can break down this traumatic event into small pieces and smaller chunks, it
Hmm.
makes the client and the employee really able to set goals, even if they're small goals. In fact, I encourage them to be small and to reach those goals, and then to really celebrate yourself when you do reach those goals.
And being a divorce coach, we are more accessible typically than most other professionals. Obviously, it's very hard to get a hold of a judge, and sometimes it can be very difficult to get a hold of an attorney. No, to slight attorneys, I love you, but it can be tricky. Even sometimes a paralegal or someone in the office can be hard to get a hold of. Whereas a divorce coach, and other professionals too, don't typically make themselves quite as accessible that divorce coaches do. I mean, we do sleep, everyone, not maybe as much as we should, but so we tend to be more with them through the different aspects of the journey, not just the legal, but as you mentioned, the emotional side too, with the children, and physically, where am I going to live, and all those questions. So the accessibility can also be a big difference for some people that aren't aware of that. So, but here you are making this transition about, so whatever made you, as a family law attorney, shift your thinking to want to start to walk down a different path of your practice as it is, to expanding it or shifting it to being more of a coaching situation versus the traditional litigant?
Well, as a family law attorney, I spent many, many hours with clients working with them through what really were non legal issues. Now, they're extremely important, significant issues that are coming up in family law cases every single day. However, I was spending a lot of time with the client. I was billing my attorney rate. This wasn't legal work. And I wasn't the appropriate professional. I wasn't at the time trained to help support the
Mm,
client through these issues.
sure.
And so, again, I just didn't feel like I was the appropriate person. Now, I wanted to help them. And I felt like, like Vicky mentioned earlier, something was just missing from the practice of family law. There
Mm,
needed to be another professional helping the attorneys helping the clients. There had to be a better way for the clients to endure a divorce, and really for the attorneys to practice as well. Um, and for an HR department and supervisors to help work with employees that are going through this traumatic event. There
Mm.
had to be a better way, and I was going to reinvent it, but I had no idea how. So basically, when I learned about divorce coaching, I knew that it was my calling, and right away became certified and knew that I was going to use my legal experience as a family law attorney and really help my clients in a more meaningful way. That was my goal. And that is why I've shifted my practice.
Mm. Well, welcome to the family, because I am so excited to see other powerful, educated, smart, savvy, particularly women, no slight gentlemen, but able to have that ability to shift and pivot the work that they're doing, not just to narrow it, but to, in many ways, broaden it so that you can encompass all the other aspects that you really couldn't before, out of just not having that experience. But maybe even not knowing that that was an option or a desire to do it.
Exactly.
And I wanted to hop into here because I think it's really important to understand that a divorce coach does not equal legal advice. Can you expound on that a little bit? Since you wear both hats, you still have your legal you still are in legal practice, even though you still have your license.
Right. Absolutely.
Can you talk about that just for a quick moment?
Sure. And like you said, as a divorce coach, I am not giving legal advice. Now, what I can do is come up with a list of questions to ask your attorney. I spend a lot of time getting the clients ready for their appointments with their attorneys. And the reason I do that is I want them prepared, clear headed, clear thinking. I want them confident and going in there and knowing exactly what they want out of that meeting to really get the biggest bang for their buck and save the attorney's fees. I remember as an attorney sitting down with a very emotional and overwhelmed client. I can tell you after an hour or two meeting, I kind of went, wow, we really didn't resolve anything at that meeting. Maybe the client was sort of stuck in their story, and which is very common.
Yes.
And needed to be heard, right? They aren't ready. They aren't ready to be included in this litigation and to be included in their case. They're not ready to be prepared for a hearing or a deposition. They need to get past a certain point where they can focus, before they can actually sit down and understand the legal proceeding I'm trying to get them ready for as an attorney. So yes, absolutely. So back to wearing my coach hat, I know exactly what it's like as an attorney to have a client that isn't focused because, again, they're going through this traumatic event. It's expected. So let's get them clear headed, clear thinking, know exactly what questions to ask. And really, when you look at the big picture, have a goal of what you want from this divorce. What does it look like? Let's talk about it. What does it look like after you've resolved your divorce? I want to get you there.
And that's what I love about that is that every divorce has its own. Nobody's divorce is the same. Not one goes the same way, right? And what I may want from mine, or you want for yours, or she wants from hers, may be totally different.
Absolutely.
And it may not make sense for you. What somebody else wants, you sit there and go, what? But we help them get what they want, not what we think they need, right? That's
exactly
what they want to go. We help them get to that point. And that's what I love about what we do.
Absolutely. Vicki, that's so important. The client has to live with this. This is not our divorce. And like you said, while we might expect them to ask for something else or maybe think they're entitled to something else, I look at their goals and those goals change. Hey, sometimes I have clients that come in and they change their mind. It's a moving target. But whatever their goal is, we talk about it, we discuss it, we reach it, and we celebrate it.
Mhm. And I find that most people don't know what they want because they just don't know that the question, what the questions are and what the options are. Many of them feel like I don't have a voice and I shouldn't be confident and speak my mind because I don't want to offend the attorney or the process or what is the process. It's almost like when people go to a doctor and they're afraid to ask too many questions or to ask for an opinion because they don't want to seem either uneducated or not in the know or insulting the physician. And it's in many ways very similar. Well, I just went and what do I do? And okay, and how much do I pay? And where do I go? And they don't really feel like an involved member of the process. It's more that they're just an observer and they have to go through it and do what they're told. And unfortunately, that is not true, but they don't feel empowered enough to ask the right questions because they don't know what the questions are sometimes. Yeah.
It's so true. And that is one of my goals as well, to really try to get the client involved in the case and know that they are part of this decision making, not their attorneys, not their uncooperative, intimidating spouse. That's not how it works. And that's why I help them to ask those
Mhm.
questions, because like you said, they don't even know. They don't know what to ask. They have no idea. Most times, as an attorney, I mean, I hear all the time that clients will come in and say, this is the first time I've ever even spoken to an attorney. So, and to have it be during such a traumatic event like a divorce, um,
It's intimidating to talk to an
absolutely.
attorney for the first time. Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
I get it.
There's
I
no
get
formality, and you come in, and there's the office, and you have to sit for your appointment, and everything was very formal, and it's a whole new world. So Julie, at what point should an employee hire a divorce coach? Is there a best starting point? What do you suggest?
Well, the employee can come to me really at any stage. A coach can help at any stage. Like
Mhm.
you mentioned earlier, those who are contemplating, who just have a lot of questions about the legal system. How is this going to work? Are my kids going to be okay? Should I even file? How much money am I going to need? Am I going to be financially all right? Should I even do this? And so I get many employees that come to me just contemplating, just considering. Um, I get many that come to me for the first time in the middle of litigation. So they are now overwhelmed by litigation and maybe demands by opposing counsel. Perhaps they've gone to a hearing where they felt the judge is not taking their side and the outcome was not what they expected. Perhaps they have problems with their attorney and maybe communication issues with their own attorney. So we work through those issues as well. I also have many clients that come to me post divorce, right? So the ink is dry, maybe even the dissolution was resolved amicably in
Mhm.
mediation or even between the parties, and there's still issues that are coming up.
Mhm.
People are falling into new roles. Some maybe one person that was not employed during the divorce has now had to go back into the workforce. So everything's changing. Schedules are changing. Whoever's responsible for pickup and drop off for the children, that is all changing. And people are moving on to new relationships.
Mhm.
Okay. New relationships are happening. Maybe they've already happened during the marriage. So we're dealing with all of these things post divorce as well. So they can come to me, of course, at any stage. But to answer your question, the best is when you're considering, is when you're just thinking about it.
Mhm.
Let's let a coach help you understand that you don't have to run and hire a lawyer right away.
it.
And maybe that is the right way for your particular case. Like Vicky mentioned, right? Every case is completely different. But there's other alternatives. Maybe resolving this case in mediation without attorneys is where you need to be. Let's talk about some other professionals that you can hire, and let's talk about your budget. Let's go through your budget. Maybe you don't know the day to day expenses that are involved in your household, Maybe you don't know income or any other liabilities or debts that are out there. Let's take a peek. Let's get that budget straight and give you that confidence to move forward and file, and just really take all the necessary steps that you need to take prior to filing that petition and prior to hiring an attorney, if that is the direction you're going in.
And, I thank you for saying that as far as the best time. And I want employers, HR managers, supervisors to understand this. If you bring us in, a divorce coach in early, so that we can get your employee out of their wild monkey brain up here where they are spinning out of control, we can help them come down to earth, give them a plan, and allow them to have that opportunity to breathe. Please, if you guys, we take in our training, we teach you what some of the signs are so that you can do this very thing. And if you get your employee the support that they need early on, the less damage to your employee, but the less damage to your company and to the bottom line and to the culture that you're creating. Early intervention in this case is really, really critical for the best outcome for everybody. And that's why this, divorce coaching, as much as it sounds like it's just for your employee, companies out there listening, understand this is as much of a value, if not a bigger value for you and your company as it is for your divorcing employee. Early intervention can change everything in the life of your employee and in your company. So thank you for saying that. So Julie, back to the, what are some of those challenges that you handle in your session so that we can give some examples of what you can do?
Sure. Well, like you had said earlier, all divorces are different.
Mm-hmm.
But we do see some of the same, some similar challenges that the parties face. So, and again, these are a lot of those non-legal issues that I was handling as an attorney that I feel so much better equipped to help employees with at this point. Many issues that we deal with include, again, in that considering stage, the do I stay or do I go stage, unclear how to tell children that you are getting a divorce, even unclear how to tell your own family, your extended family, your friends, your parents that love your spouse. How am I going to explain this to my family that we're getting this divorce, we're going forward? Many of my clients often explain to me that they're feeling completely disorganized at work. They're unfocused. They're anxious. They're feeling intimidated. We deal with those feelings as well. A lot of them have just feelings of guilt and shame, and again are just grieving this lost relationship. Many of my clients really had this wish for a dream for a long-lasting marriage, and that's gone now, and they're grieving. And it's very difficult for them to focus at work and in life. And we work through those in our sessions as well. Communication skills with the uncooperative spouse, huge. We talk about this all the time, especially when it comes to co-parenting. And maybe a spouse is making, or a former spouse is making co-parenting difficult. So we talk about communication with maybe a difficult personality. Many other issues that come up are, we touched on this earlier, is infidelity during the marriage, whether it's yours or your spouse's, moving on to new relationships after the separation. Maybe you're moving on to a new relationship and you want to introduce the children, but you don't know the right time. We talk about those kinds of things as well. And I am that sounding board, and we talk through it, and we talk about scenarios and what their goals are, again, through all of these issues.
Their goals,
yes.
Not yours. Right.
Very important.
Exactly.
I just think it's so important to give that support to our clients and to the employees, when they have that kind of support, it really helps them manage their frustration. It really helps them manage the emotions and minimizes their stress. It saves them money with their attorneys. It helps streamline how they are in the workplace, helps them become more focused and more confident.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, lastly, as we start to wrap this up, so how can a divorce coach help with employees when divorce starts to affect their career?
You know, like I had mentioned earlier, I have many clients who report to me that in the workplace they do often feel the emotion of their divorce showing. Maybe somebody has noticed, maybe a supervisor has asked, hey, is anything going on? Has reached out. Maybe a team member has noticed. They've noticed that they have had a drop in their own productivity. They're not meeting deadlines. They're not meeting goals. They can't focus. Again, I really work with them to get them back on track and ask them, what kind of support do you need from HR, from your supervisor? Let's ask for it if you feel like you're not getting it. Let's talk about who do you trust that you want to tell, that maybe you're having some personal issues, you're going through this dissolution, you're going through a separation. Really, let's also ask for time off. Let's talk about these reasonable expectations. You're going to need some time off for divorce related absences. I'm talking about upcoming hearings, upcoming meetings with your attorney. Maybe you have mediation coming up, or a trial, or depositions if your litigation is going in that direction and it's very contentious. Maybe you have appointments with your therapist. If you have a therapist involved, which I would suggest as well. There are so many reasons that you're going to have to take time off for yourself and for these absences, again, that are going to come up when you're in the middle of overwhelming litigation like this. So, and I do urge HR professionals to make this time available for the employee. I hate to hear in my sessions that an employee doesn't feel supported. It breaks my heart. This is, especially if you have an employee that is doing well at work and typically has a great record and is typically productive, and you can tell something's just not quite right. They don't feel supported sometimes. And to have an employee leave for that reason and to find another career is, again, that's just heartbreaking for me. When I see that there's a way to just support them and to understand it, like Vicki said, to sort of look for the signs and to know that this is very overwhelming for them. This is a traumatic event. And if there are any employment assistant programs or something where you can offer them that time off so that they can become that clear-headed, confident employee, I would strongly suggest that you consider something like that.
And most employees become better employees after the fact, even though divorce does take a multitude of years, typically from start to finish, because now they're more resilient and they're more strong and more clear in who they are, and they can become better employees after they're done with the entire legal process, because they feel like, hey, there's nothing I can't get through now. If I can survive that, I can get through anything.
And I would also like to interject just a little bit of a statistic that you just mentioned, Julie. The number one reason that they do quit is because they just felt like nobody cared about them at work, and that they felt completely disconnected from their company, from their employer, from their work environment. And that's a simple fix. We can help you with that. We can we can wrap this up in a nice, pretty bow and bring back to you and your company a valuable employee that can function at their very best while they're going through their very worst. Julie, thank you so much for doing this with us today. I knew that this was going to be a wonderful conversation with you. Would you do us a favor and just leave everybody with a little bit of information on how they can get in touch with you? Even though
Sure.
you're going to be one of our divorce right coaches, but just in case they have a question or two.
Absolutely. MyDivorceCoaches.com is my website, and your employees can go right on and schedule a free consultation with me, or if you have a friend or know somebody who could benefit from the value of coaching, they can schedule everything right there. It's very easy, and my email address is Julie, Julie, at mydivorcecoaches.com, and I'm happy to answer any question, no matter how big or small, because I know coaching is relatively new. A lot of people have questions about it, so I am here and happy to help.
Well, thank you so much. And just a gentle reminder, I have posted our SHRM credits form for you, for those of you that are watching here today, to grab your, we have a half of a SHRM credit for you each and every week, except next week, because next week is Thanksgiving, and we will be taking that off. So I want to wish you and your families a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. Julie, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. And Paulette, you the happy Thanksgiving. And I look forward to seeing you all the first Thursday, or the next Thursday after Thanksgiving. And we will see you then. We'll be bringing you some more information on how you can help your employees go through the divorce process in a kinder and gentler fashion with as little damage to themselves and to the company as possible. So we look forward to seeing you then, and have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye for now.